The Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce has been a supporter of reinstituting ties with Cuba, most recently through the support of increasing flights to the nation from Tampa. Tampa has extensive and very positive historic ties with Cuba and is well positioned to lead business and trade with Cuba at the appropriate time. Joining us now are Ronald A. Cristaldi, and he's the 2015 chair, and Jose Valiente, 2006 chair, to talk about their recent trip to Cuba. Great to have you both here.
Thanks. Thank you. Great to be here.
First of all, tell us what you did when you went.
Oh, this was a fantastic trip. It was the Chamber's third trip to Cuba, official trip to Cuba, and we really were able to capitalize on some of the relationships we had built last time. So we had some representatives from the Moffitt Cancer Center with us, and we partnered up with the National Institute of Oncology and Radiology there, talking about research opportunities, clinical collaborations, training of residents, fellows, and we got to the Devil Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays were kind enough to give us some baseballs and hats.
Oh, great.
And we visited the pediatric cancer unit. We were able to give the kids there some baseball treats. We also visited an eye and tissue bank with Jason Woody from the Lion's Eye Institute here in Tampa, made some connections there.
Good.
We met with the head of the Enterprise Zone. We met with our U.S. Ambassador, Desiree, there to talk about the normalization, and we ate a lot. Boy, I barely can fit in my suit anymore.
Now, Jose, had you been back? You left in the 60s, right, as a boy?
I left my second birthday, so October the 5th, 1962.
Wow.
That's when I arrived in this great country. So I went back for the first time in 2010, and then this is my second time.
You know, there are some Cuban Americans now who say we should not be even talking to Cuba until they change their politics. What do you say as a Cuban American yourself?
Well, I used to be that way. I used to feel that way, but I changed in 2003 when I attended a conference where they were talking about and a gentleman who did a lot of business with Cuba back then opened my eyes as to the ineffectiveness of the embargo. And so that I used to be that way. I respect the people who feel that way because they have personal reasons.
Right.
But if you want to make change, it's like the old saying from Albert Einstein: when you have a problem, in order to fix that problem, you need a level of thinking that is different from the level of thinking that was there when the problem started. So we're trying to apply a different level of thinking to the situation. My whole purpose for getting involved in all this is just to better the life of the 11+ million people in Cuba today.
What is this going to mean for the people of Cuba and for Tampa when it does open up? Because I think everybody's in agreement that it's inevitable.
Sure. The Tampa Chamber of Commerce is the voice of business for this region in Tallahassee and Washington and abroad. And our role and responsibility is to drive commerce. And so our primary purpose of our trip was to have this region ready to do business once our government decides to normalize relations and flips that switch. There's tremendous opportunities in healthcare and information technology and construction, and this region is poised. We can't afford to stand flat-footed while the rest of the world is there. The French president was there a few days before we were. The governor from New York was there about a week before we were. This region is very competitive in that regard, and we're going to be ready when that switch gets flipped to do business.
And really quickly, I think a lot of people think, well, as soon as that's open, everybody will leave Cuba, but that's not the case, is it? A lot of people, Cubans, are proud and they love their country and they want to stay.
No, and they need to have the young people stay there and help rebuild Cuba.
Exactly. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
For more information, you can go to tampachamber.com. We'll be right back.